Hey guys, I'm coming, Aslan. Hi, moment. Hey guys, I just want to make a short one. Been talking about all this negative stuff on my channel lately and just trying to really speak to the predominant consciousness I see in people online. This fear, this dread, and this conspiracy stuff, which is just dominating the internet at the moment. But I just want to say, every moment you have a choice. You really do have a choice. And yes, right now there's a lockdown and there's a lot of discussion about that, and it's pushing the boundaries of what is right and what is wrong and what's within our human liberties and not inside this system that we are dependent on. But most of us had no say in the construction or the unfurling of. We were just always sort of worker ants inside the colony. We never planned it. But when all's said and done, even when the pandemic is not on, how many of you actually still stay in the system constantly? Such an important question. When the pandemic's not on, when the lockdown's not on, how many of you are actually out living? Living. We're here, there's no one around. We're just on the boundary of Hamburg, a massive city. There's nobody here. We're having a beautiful picnic with the family. It's very, very peaceful, it's very wonderful. There's meadows all around us. It's just so important that you ask that question. Even when lockdown was not on, everyone's protesting about saying it's not fair to be locked down, and in many instances it's absolutely not, and I agree, and we want to be outside and all these weird things they're saying that we should do. But in my experience, even when lockdown wasn't on, if I came out into nature, I'd see very few people, because most of the people, even the ones complaining about lockdown, are totally addicted to the system. They're totally addicted to the screen the system gives them, the information about the system that's on the screen, the entertainment that's on the screen, the be it movies, be it Netflix, be it series, be it pornography, be it whatever it might be. Most people are totally and utterly hooked on the system. And the reality is that they are hooked on it because they are not ready, in many instances, to unplug and release the identity they have inside the system, because releasing that identity is very scary. I know that I did this once upon a time. A friend of mine called Sarah Fair, she's a yoga teacher. Been friends with Sarah a long time. Before I came to Africa, she came to see me and she said, "You have to get out of your monastery." And what she meant was I was living like this constantly every day. I was in nature praying and seeking God, and I'd been like that for years. And I was totally disconnected from the system. And she said, "You need to get back into the system. You need to get out of the monastery. You need to get out of the monastic life because you've been called to do something out in Tanzania." I knew by then I'd had my 1111, my sign from God to say, "Come." And I've come back into the system, and I have come in the bare bones of what I can, because remaining in the bare bones keeps me fluent in the creation of my own world. And if you don't stay in the bare bones of the system, you're not fluent in the creation of your own journey, your own path, because all that manifestational force, your energy, is fed into the ideas of other people, either be they products that you're going to purchase or be they news stories. And this is the problem with many spiritual celebrities, shall we say, is they give you this huge amount of nutrition like you would poisoning a rat, but they give you that little bit of poison because they too commentate on the system. And we need to know what's going on in the world, but moreover, the commentary should be about finding the union with the strongest version of yourself. And finding the union with the strongest version of yourself is found in stillness. And stillness comes in abundance when you just step out and come back to your roots, come back to your mother. Every moment we have, this moment right now in this technological world, I have a choice. This is beautiful, it's stunning. I've had to come here to see this beauty. Thankfully it's not far from our home. But I have a phone with me and signal, so I could go online and I could absorb information about the system. I could absorb information about the world events, and I would start feeling lower and traumatized by the news, as most people are. And when you alter your state of gratitude for the moment, the beauty you feel more abundantly and effortlessly out here, you can feel at home. Which means me sitting in this beautiful setting and looking at that stuff, taking me away from the connection to the present moment, is no different to doing it at home sat at your laptop. And then the problem is, because you're fueling your linear processing system, which has nothing to do with this world and your original self, it's a language. It's just a linear language for communication, but we get hooked on that too. If I try to describe this, it's warm, it's beautiful, the birds are singing. Every adjective you add, you pull away from the collective experience of the present moment. If I then have a narrative in my head of breaking news, doom, gloom, the world is in trouble, the elitists are going to imprison us forever, then I can easily bring even that trauma out into the beauty of nature, rather than just having it in my home. I can carry it with me, because the linear processing system's taking time to process all this linear information you received from the screen. You're only receiving linearly the information, you're not receiving it from your collective present being. And thus, using the present moment for me, for instance, I'm setting myself at present personally a 30-day challenge. That challenge is to receive the information I want to receive. And what I'm said is, every time I go to look at world events, if I want to see what's happening, I'll update myself. That takes 5 minutes maximum. Every time I do that, normally lately I'm taking half an hour to see what's happening and leading off into this and that and hearing other people's opinions. I've decided to stop doing that. And I've said the only information I'll take is information about persons in need in Tanzania. And I'll see how many people I can get help and support for out of that, out of using that time, focusing instead of taking information what the system wants you to take. The media wants you to take that information. The algorithms want you to take that information. Instead of doing that, I'm going to choose the information I take, and it'll have nothing to do with that. It'll be information from my social work team, from the development team, and it'll be information that I choose regarding solutions for those persons. Do you see? You can choose to input whatever you want into your body, and you can choose then to flow in a different, totally different vibrational state than what you have. And as I've said, it's important to speak and to let everyone know what's going on, etc. But if you've got no exit plan for it, then it's like flowing down in a river and complaining about the direction of the river, yet at the same time totally being dependent on the river. And even when the river is not forcing you to stay inside the river, you still stay inside the river. You still stay on your computer, at your laptop, enjoying the entertainment from the river, the system. And you're totally dependent on it. And you're shouting at it to stop doing it, but you have no plan. And even when you have an opportunity to step out of the river and start calculating and formulating your own plan for a life that you want, instead of living in a broken system that is abusing you as how you feel, then people just choose not to, and instead choose to complain the river's not taking them in the right direction, or the direction they want it to take them. Whereas what you want to do, if you want to change the direction of the river, is build a dam, and building a dam takes time. Building a dam will always take time to redirect the flow of your life. And if you keep enjoying the indulgences of that system over and over, instead of the indulgences of the original system, the system that God made, then you'll always be constantly terrorized by it, because that's what the system wants you to be. If you're fearing anything in your present moment, and it's not actually in your present moment, if it's being beamed into your present moment via a screen that's agitating and making you fear it, it's an illusion. When it actually affects your present moment and says you have to stay inside, then you have something obviously to ask questions about. But as I say, in my experience, most of the people who were in lockdown and complaining, they would have actually continued to just be in the same position even if they weren't forced into a lockdown. Only difference is they'd have chose it. They'd have chose to stay inside, using the matrix, using the entertainment, instead of coming out here. And really, when you come out here, I'm totally entertained by this. I have no need for any stimulus, loud noises. I'm a natural man. I have no need for all that stimulus. And that's the whole issue that we face, is we are hooked on the stimulus instead of hooked on the stimulus of this, which is a much more subtle and peaceful stimulus. I'm going to get off. Some people are coming. God bless, guys. Enjoy nature. Why not? And as I say, if you say, but I'm in lockdown, did you really enjoy nature before lockdown? Most do not. Most really do not. I know some of you did, and it's sad that you can't get out. But the majority complaining about lockdown never ever made use of the fact that they weren't locked down anyway, because they locked themselves down with the addictions of the system. Big love, guys. Bye.